to do an instrument summary, kind of a label legend at the kind of bottom right-hand corner of all the instruments that we're using. So I could put this on, say, my lighting plot layer. I'm going to keep it on my paperwork layer for right now, so I'm going to just make sure I'm still over here. So I've got this instrument summary tab over in Spotlight here. And what that does is brings over, and I can click it and drop it because I could reorient it. So double click into the spot, spinning wheel of death appears. And then I can kind of customize it here. So I can change different things. So I can change what symbols I use here. Unused symbols I can kind of get rid of or put in some other elements if I wanted to. I can really customize this to my own liking. I'm just going to hit OK here. I could change all sorts of different things. I don't necessarily need to know the wattages, so I can keep them out, but maybe I want to show the counts and compare it to the inventory that I have, and so that I can see everything that I'm using. So if I hit OK, it will create a customized, oh, the suspense is killing me. There we go. Inventory hookup. Now, it's actually showing me kind of everything that I have, because even though I haven't used it, so if I kind of scroll in here, it shows me all of the lights that we have, how many we've actually used of the inventory. So I actually have more in Labo than we've dealt with, but we get into that in kind of fourth year. But you can see how I've used 8 of my 12 ETC source 4s. I guess I didn't fill in the inventory of the colored spots, so I can go back into my inventory hookup and do that. And kind of shows me what is what. Look at all that. Isn't that beautiful? And it even gives me a color summary now, which I kind of find funny because we're not dealing with gels, but if we were dealing with gels, it would let me know how many gels I need. So there we go. That's how to create an instrument summary. So now, if we were actually going to go and print this, there's a couple things that you'd want to do. You'd want to save it to a different view, like putting it onto a page. So let's talk about how to do that. I'm going to come back to my lighting plot layer because that's what you would be normally sending to, say, a printer. And I want to select all of this to be on a separate page. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, you go into your basic tool sets of a rectangle tool, and you kind of start at one corner and go down to the other. It's okay if you go past it. And you're just trying to draw a rectangle over everything. Because the next thing that you're going to do is go into the View tab and create viewport. So under View, create viewport, and then it comes up with this pop-up saying that, hey, that box that you just drew, do you want me to use that as a crop, to highlight that area? And I'm like, yeah, that's why I did it. And then you hit OK. So now I can change the drawing number. So I'm going to call this, I think I can call it lighting plot. Or no, the drawing number, sorry, would still be drawing number 1, and the drawing title would be lighting plot. And I can keep everything kind of the same and hit OK. You see, I already have something called that. Sorry, I might need to call it something different. Viewport name is already used by another object. Please use a different name. Fine. Call it something else then. I don't care. You call it what you want to call it. Will that work for you? Yeah, okay, fine. So I can do, then that will create a new sheet, and I can create different sheets as well. And I'm just going to keep that the same for right now. Okay. So now what that does is brings me to a different tab. I'm now actually over here in my and I can click on it, my sheet layers. So we had classes in my navigation plane, and then we had the layers. Now I'm in sheet layers, and so this pops up where it is on the actual sheet. So now I can do a couple things here. If this was hooked up to a printer, I can customize the sheet size that it's going to, but I want to show you how to do a border to make this kind of look pretty. So I can go into my Actually, before I get to that, you might notice on mine, I can kind of see a grayed out sheet size in behind there, and that represents kind of a page. It also pops up with the kind of scale that I have here. So now let's say I want this to actually fit onto my page. I can modify that, scale the object here, and I can scale it down. So I want to say scale it down by half, so a factor of 0.5. And are you sure you want to scale everything? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So it's going to shrink everything down for me. Um, Whoops, that's not what I wanted to have happen. Command Z. Oh, maybe it's not the entire drawing that I wanted, but actually just the thing that I selected. Because the reason why I'm doing this is so that you can actually get border around the page. You can see my page there, so I want to kind of change the scale of this. So if I um, left click on this, I think I can, or is it double click? Double click, does it pop up with, oh yeah, I've got my object info here with it being selected, and I can change the scale of it. So right now I'm at a 1/4 inch scale, and I'm going to make it an 1/8 inch scale, so it shrinks it right down. So now I could actually move it around. I could probably even put my lighting channel hook up here if I wanted to, um, just to make it look all pretty, but I can do whatever I want with it. So now with it small enough to fit in the page that I'm printing, I can put in a border to it. So where's that? That is down here. I've got all sorts of different tabs to deal with here. One of them is dimensions and notes, where I could put kind of notes and call out things. But if I scroll down, there's a title block border. And it'll automatically assume you want it on the page, so it goes over there, and you click it once, and I can change the style of it, and if I don't like the style of one, I can go back and kind of change it to something else. So I'm going to, I don't know, pick this one, hit select. I could, yeah, keep everything else the way it is, and hit OK, and then it pops up there. So now let's say I want to change the information in the title block here. I can come into the title block and border settings. Give that a moment. It'll pop up, and I can go into the title block, and I can do some changes to it. So if I convert to unstylized, I can, well, I want to keep it in the bottom right, but I want to say edit the block layout. And so now I can come into here and I can kind of change different things. So I can select things, and let's say, well, I don't know what cage code is, but let's call this maybe, I'm going to change things around. I'm going to call this drawing number. Come on, select you there. Oh, why am I on that? I want to be on this. And I can hit delete on that. No, I can't, can I? All right, fine. I can use the text to fill in. Yes, 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 yes. I can use the text tab here to kind of fill in different information. So I can call this area over here, I can call this maybe title. And underneath I can call it, you know, my show or whatever. And if that's not where you want it to be, I can put it here. I can put in drawing number here, so I can call this drawing number 1, revision number 1, whatever. And I can, depending on the title block that I had, I can have, you know, the design by and all that, which you probably should have, but I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. So I'm going to exit the title block layout. There we go. And it can go in there. The other thing that I could do if I really wanted to, so there's the title block, but then there's also this stuff here. So under project data, I can say, you know, that this is called, project name is my show, the address, the date, I can put in today's date. Sheet data, I can fill out all that kind of information as well. And depending on the title block that you used, that will appear down in your title block. So but I don't have that in this particular one. I can also custom make one if I wanted to. So with that being done, I can come back and zoom out, and then I can see that I've got a lovely title block around my page, and then that's what I could send off to the printers. It's got the scale and everything, and depending on the size of the printer that I would have a larger sheet and probably a better scale so I can read everything. So there we go. I hope that helps with everything that you guys are going to need for your projects dealing with Vectorworks. So until another time, bye.